Hi, everybody. Oh my God. Look at our new vibe. We have got a whole other angle I'm trying out. Um, Hopefully, I don't look like Hunchback of Notre Dame. I got to keep my posture right. But yeah, look at us. New angle. So it's getting cold out there. It's mid October. Well, almost mid October as far as like when we're recording. And I have to say, my shiny crystal this week is I know I've done it before, I think in the past about my garden, but I gotta say, guys, it's really, I'm fucking stressed a little because there's a storm coming this weekend, like 60-mile-per-hour winds. I was hoping to get my garden through to November, which I definitely 100% could have if the weather was a little better. They are vibrant and they are just popping right now, and I definitely could have got it till November 1st. But this weekend's gonna be strong winds, and and I'm like, I hate that I get so attached to things, and I just have to be honest, like I get very attached, and I'm trying to like go through the journey of the garden, and I'm trying to truly just like accept all the things. We had the marigold fiasco, and then it wound up being better than it was before. But it's really hard for me to let go of things, especially things that I care about or love. Having my dog has been teaching me about letting go, and just, we have things for the moment. We have things for a time. We have things for a period in our lives, an era, and everything comes to an end. Literally, like that's the cycle of everything. And it's just hard because, usually when something's coming to an end, it's like wiltering, or it's like old, and you're just kind of like, all right, that's its process. But my garden, it ain't nothing wiltering about it. It is brighter than ever. It's enjoying the fall air. I do a bloom booster that I add to it. The colors, you can see it from down the block. It's my prize pig, It really is just everything. And it's not even like this huge, it's like a little patch, but the cosmos that I have, there's like a second round bursting out. They're about 6 feet tall. Could you die? 6 feet. They're as tall as I am. They are tall. They're my dancing little ballerinas. So I'm just shook, actually, because the weather's I don't want to see them destroyed. Like I was prepared for like the first frost, right? And then like I see them dying a little bit, and then I cut them down and prepared the soil for next year possibly. I was not prepared for a destructive nor'easter that's going to rip them to shreds, and my little my little petals are going to be falling. And so each night I go out and I try to just enjoy them while they're here. That's part of the whole journey. But I will say my garden is my shiny crystal because it really has been such an experience. I suggest it to everyone, almost so much so that like I was thinking of like starting a small business of like teaching people how to start a garden, a wildflower garden, and teaching them how to maintain it, but also like coaching them on the whole process and the experiences and the lessons that there are to be learned in the garden. It's funny because like when I talk to my neighbor, Billy, he's like such a straight boy, he's like such a like straight man guy. And like, when I explain and I really talk about the lessons, and it's not like he's on board with me. He loves it. He hears it, but I can see him in his head going, this fucking guy's nuts. And he's known me since I'm younger. They've been there for a long time. It just feels like it sucks that it has to end. That's the bottom line. Like if I was in California, I could have this garden for a whole year round. New York is really about teaching you like, nope, everything's in cycles, everything's in seasons. So buck up, buddy. It's funny too. I was telling my dad how I have this like small patch right next to it. And I was showing him the garden, and I was showing him the small patch of zinnias that were popping up. And I said, yeah, that one I planted when I was like enraged because I pulled out the marigolds and I was upset. So I was so mad that I just was enraged. So I planted a small little one because I was just so mad. And he was like, ooh, scary. Like, you get mad, you have to plant a garden. Like that's it. I was like so pissed off that I had to plant flowers. And he was like, "Ooh, watch out for you, big bad guy." And he was like, and I was like, "Oh wow, that is funny." Like I was like, "Yeah, I was just so enraged, so I had to plant those flowers." Like, that's a great way to deal with anger. Plant some flowers. You get mad, I got to plant a tree. I'm pissed off, I got some cosmos on the way, you know? So I thought that was cool that it made me, wow, that's how I was angry, so I had to plant some more. I had to make new ones. I love that. When you get angry or upset or mad, turn it into something positive, you know? I think that's a good lesson there. Turn it into something nice. So yeah, that's my shiny crystal in my garden. My Bella bow. 6 months I've had it out there. I started in April. So we're going on 6 months. So I'd say half of the year, beautiful, colorful, perfect flowers. I think that's pretty good. So I don't know. You know what it is? I don't know the feel I'm going to have when they are dead and when they're gone. So I will keep you posted on that because I've never experienced this. So this is a new feeling that I'm going to have. So I'm embracing that. I'm embracing that I'm going to have a new feeling that I've never experienced. I mean, yes, I've experienced loss and things had to go, but I've never experienced, like a garden dying. So I'll keep you posted. Anyway, let's move on now to our Sign Me Up. We are up to Sagittarius. You guys know how I feel about the Sagittarius boys, so but we'll stick to I'll try to keep it about the girls, the Sag girls. The Sag boys. Otherwise, I'm going to be over here being all nasty about it. All right, so Sagittarius in a crisis. Why would I want Sagittarius on my side in a crisis? Because they're kind of like, I'm trying to think of something positive. Because if I'm thinking of the females, I feel like they have good ideas. I feel like Sagittarius females are good, like, thinkers. They're good at, like, coming up with an idea on the spot, or they're good at coming up with a solution. I think Sagittarius women are good with that. So a crisis, having a Sag girl on your side is great because they're quick thinkers. They have stamina as well. They don't tire out easily, and they're always down. All my Sag girls, they're always down. They're always like down for it. I like that about Sag girls. They're very like, yeah, I'm down to go. Let's do it. Sag boys too. When I was younger, some of my close guy friends were Sagittarius. They were always down, like, let's go hang out, walk around the neighborhood. They're pretty down for it when they're not being nasty. Other than that, they're ready to go. So unhinged. How is Sagittarius unhinged in a relationship? Well, the problem is that they're not unhinged. They don't have a lot of passion. So I don't find that they're very passionate, the men at least. I would say that they're unhinged in the sense that, I wouldn't say Sag is unhinged in any way, to be honest with you. I feel like, okay, I guess I would say that it's their, but I would also look at this as a toxic trait. It's their like meanness. If they're being unhinged, if they're when they feel hurt or they want to, it's the meanness. They might say some mean shit. They're mean with their words if they're being unhinged, or if they're displaying. So their toxic trait would also be that nasty mouth. It's the way when they say, if they're trying to like hurt you, or if they're pissed off, or if they're mad, and they just say mean shit, and they don't have remorse. They're remorseless. They're not very remorseful. Is that the word? Remorseful. So yeah, I would say that's their toxic trait and their unhinged behavior. But other than that, they don't excite with a lot of passion, to be honest. They don't have that. They don't have a lot of like heated passion. And it's odd because like, it's so weird to me that Sagittarius is a fire sign, because I just don't see it. Like I see them, like I would almost think Sagittarius would be an air sign, because they're just kind of like, they're there. Sag men, at least, for sure. The Sag girls are way better. But anyway, not to get into a thing about it. The healing retreat. What would a Sagittarius bring to a healing retreat? I feel like, because it's funny how they say, they're always like, oh, Sagittarius is so philosophical and so deep. And I don't see it, I don't see it. So I'm like, oh, at a healing retreat, maybe they'll bring, oh, you know what? I'm trying to think of my Sag girls. I feel like they would bring, I just keep feeling, here's the thing. I keep feeling like they would bring tasty treats, but at the same time, it's not like they have a sweet tooth or they're so like food motivated. I just feel like that's what they would think to bring. They'd be like, oh, I brought some tasty treats. I brought like some cute snacks. Like, and you're like, okay, all right. Like, sure. I feel like that's what they would do. They would bring tasty treats randomly. It would be like random. If it was a Sag female, if it was a Sag guy, he'd probably like go to the grocery store and get a bunch of powdered donuts and be like, yeah, here, I want this. Like, and you're like, oh, thanks for trying. And then he'd get pissed off that you're not impressed by the powdered donuts. He'd be like, oh, well, don't choke on it. That's what he'd say. He'd be like, don't choke on it. Like you'd be like, why'd you bring powdered donuts? Like, you want to charge us all up with sugar? And he's like, oh, well, don't be too thankful. Like I feel like he'd say something nasty like that. So yeah, the Sag boy would bring powdered donuts and disappoint all of us. And the Sag girl would bring some kind of cute, tasty treat and be like, funsy, it'd be really random. So sign me up with a Sagittarius. Yeah, if I'm like looking to be annoyed and pissed off all the time, sign me up with the boy. But Sagittarius girl, sign me up for sure, because I've always had a blast with my Sag females. Always, like when they're not being like snappy. My friend Lisa, she's a Sagittarius. And if you're on her good side, you're good. But if you're not, like she used to call me gay all the time when we were in high school. I was gay, but I was closeted. And she'd be like, you're gay, like such a Sag. Like she'd be screaming down the street, you're gay. We were in Italian class together and she turned around to me. She's like, are you gay? And I'm like, in ninth grade, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like in my head, I'm like, this fucking girl. Sagittarius. All right, so let's move on to, I ran out of Disney astrology. So, because like I said to you guys last time, I don't really, I'm a 90s Disney, 80s, 90s Disney. So there's really no more other ones that I really felt compelled or passionate to talk about. Like I can talk about them, but I don't know them that well. And I'm not passionate about the other ones. So I'm not going to go on about it. So I said, if you have any requests or if you have any suggestions, I'll totally take them. My friend Dana, she said to do Greece 1 and Greece 2. Amazing. Such a great suggestion. So Dana, thank you for that. So this episode, we're going to do Greece. And next episode, we're going to do Greece 2, which in my opinion, Greece 2 is the superior Greece. I know regular Greece is a classic. Me and my sister, when we were little kids, we used to sing and dance to it all the time and perform it in our living room to our parents. But Grease 2, it's just better. I think it's just good. I think the songs are really, even though corny as hell, they're just good. I remember when I was a little kid. Well, Grease 2, we'll talk about Grease 2 next week. So let's do Greece astrology. Also, guys, if you have any movies or anything that you think would be fun for me to do, I'm going to do, oh, you know what? So let's go on this trend. Well, no, I was going to say we'll do movie musicals. But no, we'll just do movies from the 80s and 90s. How's that? I like that. Movies from the 80s and 90s. I love that. Okay. All right, Greece. So Sandy. What is Sandy? Sandy, to be honest with you, she's a Libra. I don't even have to think twice about it. She is a Libra girl. Sandy is such a Libra girl. She's aesthetics. She's just cute. She's pretty. But like, honey, she acts all prim and proper. And oh my goodness, my ear, I never had an ear piercing. Oh, but then she's like, she's being all like slutty in the sheets and just a bad girl. And she's like, hit me with the ruler, like she's like, like just like dressing up in like the nurse outfit and the Catholic school girl. And she's just like, spank me with the ruler. I've been bad. But then when she's out in public with everybody, she's like, oh my goodness, I'm such a sweet little thing. I'm such an innocent little Libra. Meanwhile, she's like stirring the pot, right? She got Rizzo and all them pissed off at each other. She got the boys fighting over each other. Such a Libra girl. Oh my God. That's exactly what it is. She is like, she knew, you bet your ass, she knew Danny Zuko was at that school. But she's a Libra girl. So she told her mom, she was like, I need to go to that school. She weaseled her way into that school. She knew damn well Danny Zuko was at Rydell High. Okay? She probably heard from one of her girls over that summer trip. She was like, oh, he go to Rydell High. You know, Sandy got into her parents' ear and she was like, I have to go to school in America and I need to go to Rydell High. I heard really good things about it. She slipped her way in there. She had her crystals going, you know, because how Libra women, I say, what is it? Wiccan. They could do witch shit. So I'm telling you, she manifested that boy, and she got her ass at Rydell High. So I know she knew Danny Zuko. She acted all surprised. Oh, my God, Danny goes to Rydell? Danny. No, she knew the whole time. She made sure she was at that drive-in because she knew Danny was going to the drive-in. Don't tell me different. Don't even try. Don't even try it, Sandy. I know I got your ass. And then even at the end, when she came out with that with the Skims, she had the Skims on and she had her hair all done out. Libra, that's her true self in there. She acted. She was never poodle skirt girl with the cute. She was never that. She was always, in my opinion, I bet you in Australia, where she's from, the Sandy at the end with the whole black leather outfit, that was Sandy in Australia 24/7. Okay. But she's smart. She came here. She was like, I got to get into Rydell. So she fixed that shit up. That was never her. I promise you that. And then Danny, what is Danny? Danny, oh my God, little bastard. And he tried too. It's funny because she had him all twisted up. You know, I'm torn because like, I feel like Danny was such a Taurus. Danny Zuko, oh my God. And that's why they're so cute together, Taurus and Libra, because they're both Venus ruling planet. Danny Zuko was a Taurus. Absolutely. Like, not into sports, you know, like just like bad, you know, like hanging with the bad boys, but he's not really a bad boy, you know, like he had to act all bad and cool, but he's really a little mush inside. Like, you know, Taurus is like on the outside, well, although they would never act like anything, they have to be their true self. But I feel like when it came to his buddies, he wanted to impress them, so he had to act like a bad boy. But he's not. He's like, or maybe he does have that bad boy side, but he was trying to turn over a new leaf, which is Tauruses. Tauruses are always trying to turn over a new leaf, always trying to like better themselves. But the thing is with Danny Zuko is he gives me a little bit of like Cancer vibes as well, because I almost would say he's more of a Cancer. You let me know. Do you think he's more of a Taurus or a Cancer? Because I feel like the Cancer in him, I feel like that's why he was like acting like a bad boy with all his buddies, but like he really, and then like trying to get into sports, but he really can care less. I kind of, and he was like all about that. Yeah. And then he was like all like when he was alone at the drive-in and he was so sad about it. Like, okay, I think he's more of a Cancer. Danny Zuko's a Cancer with a Taurus moon. How's that? That I'm on board with. He is a Cancer with a Taurus moon. Love that. God, he's so cute. The more when I place Cancer with Taurus moon on him, I'm actually into him. I was never into John Travolta, younger me, like the whole like cleft chin thing. Never cared much about it. I was never really into it. But now that I see him as a Cancer with a Taurus moon, I'm like a little charged up. I'm more into him that way because it gives him a little more mush, a little more like depth. I love it. Rizzo. Oh my God. Rizzo is a Sagittarius. Don't even try to tell me different. Such a Sagittarius, getting herself knocked up and like, was it a false? Wait, was she really pregnant or did she? I don't remember. No, did she have an abortion? I'm not sure. Anyway, maybe, yeah, because I remember when she was on the Ferris wheel, she was like, I'm not pregnant. I don't know if she had an abortion, but that doesn't matter. Sagittarius female, such a Sag, because she's like badass and sexy and she's just like, you know, fast, you know, like she's just having sex in the 50s. Such a Sag girl. And then even like how she was like, when they were like spraying when they were like at the sleepover and they were spraying all the things and she was like come on, Sandy, I'm going to pierce your ear. Stop being a little bitch. Such a Sag. Like, Sag girl to the max. Because that's how they are. They're just like, no, they're all business. They're like, let's go. I'm piercing your ear or I'm not. Like, I'm not fotzing around all day because I got some boys outside that I got to go hang out with. She was all about them boys, Rizzo. Kid Nicky. You know what's funny is I thought it was Kid Nicky my whole life. No, apparently his name is like Kanicki or something. I thought it was Kid Nicky. So I'm going to continue to call him Kid Nicky because that's my experience. So Kid Nicky. For me, he's such a Leo because he's like the cutest one. He's cuter, way cuter than Danny Zuko. Danny gets all the Raj because he's Cancer with Moon and Taurus. So of course he's like sexy, cute, compelling, adorable. But Kid Nicky, he is such a Leo because he's clearly, technically, the better looking one, great hair, cool as shit. But he don't get all the attention the way that Danny Zuko does. So Leos tend to either be the shining star or they get left by the wayside and they don't really get their just due. You know, it's like, oh, you know, you feel bad because they have star quality, but sometimes Leo boys just don't get their just due. It's just how it works. They're either the shining star or they just get left behind. So that's Kid Nicky because he was the hottie in that group, but he didn't have he was all fire, you know? And then what else would I say about Kid Nicky? Because again, the reason why I put him as a Leo is because he's got that charm. He's understated. He's grease lightning, you know? He is grease lightning. He is mechanic, just greasy and boy. He's just all boy, you know? Such a Leo. And then, oh God, what was the bad guy's name with the acne? Oh, I forgot what his name was. Ratchet Face, I used to call him because he had oh my God, the poor thing. But that's why he was angry, I think. I always said that as a kid. I was like, of course he's mean and angry. The poor thing, he's got like, they didn't have Accutane back then. So he got all the craters because he was probably picking at his pimples, the poor guy. So I always felt bad for him, but he was so angry and pissed off. Of course he's angry and pissed off. He's look at him in the senior pictures. He's got to do it. No. And they all looked like they were 40 years old. Let's not talk about that. But I would say he is, not because of like skin quality, but because of like his demeanor. I would say he is, I want to say Scorpio man, but like, I'm going to go with Pisces. I know that that's so random, but I feel like Ratchet Face, I feel like he's a Pisces boy. He's a Pisces man who just can't catch a break, basically. And he was probably eating so much sugar and so much shit. That's why he's had the bad skin, because Pisces they have that sweet tooth. So he 100% was eating all that crap. So he is definitely a Pisces, and he's all emotional and he's charged up and he just can't, he can't get through it. Like, can't get through his feelings and his emotions. You know, it's a lot to be a Pisces boy. So he definitely 100%. And then his girlfriend, Cha-Cha Di Gregorio, I can never say her last name. Cha-Cha Di Gregorio, that bitch, that one. She was like, she came in all hot and spicy. She was like, I'm the number one in all of, would she say, I'm the number one dancer in all of Cha-Cha Di Gregorio, number one dancer in all of she was like the number one dancer in her school, I guess. I don't know if she even went to Rydell High. She looked like she could be a teacher at Rydell High, but Cha-Cha Di Gregorio, girl, no. Oh my God, this makes so much sense. She's such a Scorpio girl, Cha-Cha. Oh my God. And it makes so much sense because she's dating Ratchet Face, who's a Pisces. Pisces and Scorpio are so good together. Oh, she is Scorpio woman. She came in hot to trot, and she's taking names, and she's got no sympathy for any of it. She came in throwing that dress around, and she was like, you know, when they did that dancing, and she was like, she was tossing bitches, you know? Cha-Cha is such a Scorpio girl with her Pisces man dealing with his bad skin and his attitude. But she's a hot Scorpio girl. She's like, I don't give a shit. She's like, she's got her dress. She don't give a shit. She's defending the title. She's got a dance championship to get to. She don't care about your bad you bad skin. She's like, deal with it. Stop eating all that fucking sugar and you'll be fine. But she's like, but I don't have it in me to sit and worry about, for you. You got a drag race coming up. That's why she threw those handkerchiefs in the middle. She was like, she was such a Scorpio girl. Oh my God. Like hands down. Double Scorpio. How's that? She's a Scorpio with a Scorpio moon. Chacha Di Gregorio. Oh, she don't play. She don't play about her man. She don't play about her dance. She don't play about being number one in whatever school she's in. She don't play about that drag race. Oh yeah, no. Chacha Di Gregorio, she don't play around. Scorpio to the T. I wonder, yeah. Did she come back in part 2? I know he came back in part 2. I'll look into that and I'll get back to you next episode. Well, there you go. There was our Greece astrology. Funsies. All right. Well, let's get to our sponsor. Christine Louisi at Skincare. Oh my God. Love Collective Beauty Skincare Studio. This episode and all episodes are sponsored by her at Collective Beauty Skincare Studio. They believe everyone deserves to feel beautiful and confident. It really is, like going off the script here, it really is such a great place. I say it every week, and I'm telling you, if you're on Long Island, make an appointment with Christine because she will take care of your face. I go once a month. She does it for me. Last episode, check out last episode, the video. I had just gotten the facial from her, I guess maybe a week before. And if you look at last week's episode, I don't know how it looks now, but last week, glowing. So she really, my sister had just gone, loves her. She's got amazing products. She cares about what she does. She loves what she does. The place is so cute in Malvern. You have to go check it out. Collective Beauty Skincare Studio. Mention Crusty Crystals, you get 25% off any treatment. I mean, that's a really great discount. So check her out. All the information is in the bio. You will not be disappointed. I promise you that. Eyebrows, facials, all of it. So good. So good. All right. So let's get to our voice note today. So last week we did our voice note and I said, send me a voice note follow-up. She sent it. She said everything was on point. I realized to play the voice note follow-up on the podcast, it really doesn't make sense because then you're not remembering exactly what we talked about last week. And it's really more like, it felt like more that it was being more of a validation that I was really on point about the astrology stuff. I don't need the validation and I don't feel like I have to prove it to you guys or validate to you guys that, yeah, maybe I'll do live calls and it'll be cool to see it in person, but I feel like posting a voice note later to validate the reading feels unnecessary. So we're not going to do that. So thank you though for sending that in last week. Love you. So let's do our voice note for this week.
Hey, Thomas, loving the podcast, and I'm really loving watching this journey for you. I've really been enjoying it, so thank you for everything you do. I am coming to you today with a little bit of a torn heart. I'm reaching out in regards to the dynamic between myself and my boyfriend. I am a Scorpio. He is a Scorpio. We're both Scorpio, only children. As well as a third party who is an Aquarius who I have very deep feelings for. Just to clarify, there's been no cheating, no boundaries have been crossed. There has been no micro cheating of any sort. This is just my very deep feelings for someone who I've known and been friends with for 18 years. And I know that he has similar feelings, but he is extremely respectful. And so there have been no boundaries crossed, but it's just, it's a feeling that I can't shake. And as much as I try to push it away, because I have a very good life with my boyfriend, we have our differences, but who doesn't? I just can't shake it. I feel like the meme from Pawn Stars. Best I could do is suppress my feelings. Here's the kicker. You did a reading for me a few years back, which was incredible, by the way. Thank you for that. My mom came through and she said, or she had you tell me, that she likes the boy with the tattoos and the skateboard. Well, they both have tattoos and they both skateboarded a lot when they were younger. one has significantly more tattoos than the other. And I should have asked for clarity in the moment, but I didn't. And so I've always wondered who you meant, the Scorpio or the Aquarius. And if you have any feelings about that. I love my boyfriend a lot and we have an incredible life and I'm so grateful for it. But this friend of mine, there's just this unshakable, visceral knowing that I belong to him, and I don't know if that's crazy or not.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your honesty and your transparency. I was trying to feel a lot of things while you were speaking and trying to understand. And it's funny because, okay, so my brain says to me, like earlier, like when you were speaking, like, oh, let's not even bother with this Aquarius. But then I feel like when you mentioned the mom stuff and in the reading, like my first feeling was she was talking about the Aquarius with the tattoos. And I was saying to myself, yeah, but she's got this boyfriend, so why would her mom want her to be with? See, that's what happens when I let my brain get involved and not just let my abilities perform the task, because I kept getting hit with the Aquarius. So here's what I would say first. Let's start with the double Scorpios. It's so funny too isn't that funny? We were just literally talking about the Scorpios and her being a double Scorpio female. You're so Chacha de Gregorio. You being a Scorpio and him being a Scorpio. Here's what it is. When there's two people of the same sun sign, okay, it's either the most passionate relationship or like you could like be at each other's throats. So, or it could be a little bit of both all the time. But two people of the same sign, it's a lot of passion, but it's also a lot of friction, difficulties. Or it can just be a little bit of both, like a lot of passion a little bit of the time, and then a little bit, and then when there is friction, it's like, whoa, explosive. But it's intense nonetheless. Okay, I would say that. I feel like you're staying with the Scorpio, with the boyfriend, out of like convenience. That's like my first feeling that I'm getting. Like I feel like maybe it's, you've been with them, you have a good life together. There's nothing that's like crazy that's pushing you away. Just feels like it's like you'd love, sometimes when you love somebody, you don't want to leave it because you love them. It's easier if you didn't love him or if you had anger towards him, or it feels like it's nice that this and that. But when you brought up the mom thing, I like connected to spirit during that when you were speaking. And I was like, I'm not saying I was connecting to her specifically, but I was connecting to spirit when you said that. And I did keep hearing the Aquarius is who she was talking about. And it makes a little sense to me because maybe, since you said you've known him for 18 years, maybe she knew him when she was 11. I don't know. That I'm just piecing together with my brain. But my hit was the Aquarius, which goes against really what my mind was saying. But I always say in a reading or any type of thing, I have to go with what spirit's saying, not with what my brain is saying, because that's not the one that's making the brain is the human part. It's the abilities you want to go with. So they are saying the Aquarius. I would say this though. I feel like the Aquarius one, I don't feel like he's ready to, I don't feel like there's settling down. I don't feel like he's somebody who is ready to settle. Like not saying settling, like settle down. Like I feel like he's all over the place. Like that's an Aquarius thing. But there are many Aquarius people who can settle down. So it's not that I'm going off it's the Aquarius thing. It's more like of a feeling I'm getting. Like I feel like, this is what I would say. If it was going to happen or meant to happen, it would have already happened. That's my mark right there. That's what I feel strongly. If it was meant to happen or if it was going to happen, it would have already happened. So I feel like it's just kind of throwing a monkey wrench in the whole thing, because I do feel like you're comfortable with your boyfriend. I just don't feel like there's passion there. I think maybe you're a little bored with your boyfriend. So I think that's why this is sparking itself up. I do feel like mom does like this one, but I don't feel like he is ready. So maybe when the time is right, maybe when it's meant to be, it'll happen. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll work its way out. But I don't feel like a breakup between you and your boyfriend. I feel like if it ever does happen, it will go on where like your boyfriend and you decide that, there's something happens where you're not together, and then the Aquarius is also ready at that time. Like I feel like it'll be serendipitous in a sense of like things will happen at the right time and it'll all make sense, or it'll be like pieces of a puzzle that all of a sudden are coming together. As of right now, it feels like for me, just keep things the way they are. Keep the communication open. I love communication. And I feel like your boyfriend, what I'm feeling right here as a hit, I don't feel like he's the typical possessive Scorpio. Like I feel like he's actually more, I don't want to say he's like willing to share because you're not a thing to share, but I feel like he's more open to like, I just don't feel like he's as possessive as most Scorpios are. So, but my advice is that it'll all one day fit as pieces of the puzzle. So wait until that day. For now, enjoy the process. Enjoy having two people that you love and care about and that it works. But for now, the pieces of the puzzles aren't ready to be a mainframe, basically. So just chill. All right. So message me. Let me know what you think about that. The final note. The final thought. Although final note is kind of cute too, because you have the voice note and then you have final note. Final note. Go with the change. Work on attachment. On a spiritual level, attachment is the worst thing for any of us. When we're attached to things, we are definitely setting ourselves up to be disappointed, to be hurt, to be sad. If you can master detachment or not being attached to a person, to a outcome, attached to a situation, I think I know if you can master not being attached, and there are times where I'm like in the moment and I truly don't feel attached and it feels so good. Like when I can look at my dog and just say, I'm going to enjoy this moment with him. I have him now. He's healthy right now. I'm enjoying him now in this time. I'm not worried about later. I'm not worried about the past. I'm not worried about tomorrow. I am with him now. I'm holding him now. I feel great. There's no anxiety to it. There's no stress to it. There's no pushing against. It just feels good. If you can be like that most of the time with any situation, and I'm really trying to be like that with my flowers, like Sunday, the storm is coming. Today's Friday. I'm going to tomorrow maybe cut a bunch and put them in a nice vase. And it's good to cut anyway because you grow more, deadheading it's called. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to enjoy them in the vase and I'm going to hope that they don't get destroyed. I'm not putting up my wind blocker. I mean, it's going to be 50 mile per hour winds. My wind blocker is going to be taken away to Kansas. So I'm not putting my wind blocker. It's mid-October. I'm letting nature take its course and we're going to see what happens. That is me trying not to be attached. And you know what? When I say it that way about the garden, I feel better. Like I do. I feel calmer about it. Like when I say I'm just going to let nature take its course, it's actually so much easier than having to control. Like you should see me out, like trying to control the wind. I mean, it's insane. Could you imagine trying to control the wind? Like that's what I try to do all the time. Like that's insanity. Like literally, I'm not even like being dramatic or like extra. I'm literally trying to control the wind. You can't. You have to just let the wind blow. And if my flowers are meant to be there next week, they will. So I'll keep you posted. Love you guys. Remember to follow the podcast. Remember to tell your friends. It's a fun podcast. It's like, there's all these podcasts out there are so fucking like intense and deep and angry and this and that. We're here to have fun. We're here to keep it light. We're here to, light and bright, babies. So I'll see you next week. Follow the podcast, Crusty Crystals Pod. On TikTok, we're The Wanderers. We're also Crusty Crystals Podcast on TikTok. Check out Florid Media if you're on Long Island. Great studio space. Jay is also a great photographer. If you ever need photography, message me and I'll send you. Well, his contacts are also in the bio. So check out the bio if you want to check out Christine's studio or Jay's studio. Here we are. Love you guys.